Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and in today's video we have the long-awaited, much-anticipated return of Unobtainable Legacy Quick Attack Starmie in the Master League Premier Cup. Starmie is a Water and Psychic type Pokemon with the fast move of Unobtainable Legacy Quick Attack and the charge moves of Thunder and Ice Beam. We'll be running it on the save switch, hoping to surprise some Gyarados or some Dragonite. So without further ado, let's opt for the matches and check out Unobtainable Legacy Quick Attack Starmie in action in the Master Premier Cup. Hopping into the first match, leading Dragonite into Florges. Absolutely terrible lead. I'm going to need to immediately save switch into Starmie, and my opponent responds with a Dragonite. I'm farming up, going straight for the Ice Beam. Do they respect it? They do not! Get absolutely one-shot by a Starmie. Opponent sends in Gyarados, and they're over-farming, looking for the farm down. Do they respect the Thunder? They do not! Back-to-back one-shots from Starmie. In comes Excadrill, and things are looking honestly really good for us now. They fire off a Moonblast, and I'm just going to have to start spamming out these drill runs. I'm firing off the drill run here. This will do quite a lot of damage onto the opponent, so they are going to start shielding. From here, they can just spam out Disarming Voices. As Disarming Voice, they can get to pretty quickly. I'm going to continue to farm up here, firing off the Drill Run, and again I am able to win CMP over the Florges. Drill Run is going to connect, Florges will fire off another charge move, and I will commit my final shield here. I'm going to continue to farm, fire off this Drill Run, and this Drill Run is going to be getting them very low. Drill Run gets them deep into the red. They will be able to outpace me here, and they're going to fire off their charge move. Florges goes for Disarming Voice. I'm low. I'm going to send in Dragonite. Dragonite gets the farm down, and that is a good game. Moving into the next match, picking up a positive lead, Dragonite into Excadrill. Exca will be able to outpace in this matchup, but they're over-farming quite a bit. I'm going to farm up past the superpower and then bait with the Dragon Claw, hoping to try and grab a shield, and I am able to grab a shield for my opponent. That is fantastic. I'm going to let the first move through as I do tank one Rock Slide, but they're going to quickly follow that up with Rock Slide number 2. I will commit the shield, bank this energy, and send in Starmie, and my opponent sends in a Waterfall Gyarados. Starmie going for the Thunder. Do you think they know? I don't think they know. Get absolutely one-shot by Starmie. Opponent is going to send back in Excadrill. Excadrill is going to fire off Drill Run here. Drill Run is going to get rid of Starmie. Starmie does not tank hits well at all, as it is only 2500 CP. I'm going to fire off this Superpower. Superpower onto the Exca is going to KO. They have Togekiss in the back. We can send in Exca. Opponent sees the writing on the wall and concedes the match. We've got the same leads in the next match, Dragonite into Excadrill. Exact same plan as before. I'm going to play out the one shield and then save switch into Starmie. My opponent, however, has other plans, as they're going to bank some energy on Exca and send in Sylveon. Thankfully, I have a great response to Sylveon with my Excadrill. Exca is able to significantly outpace Sylveon in this matchup, and I reach 2 drill runs before they're able to make it to their Moonblast. This second drill run is going to get a shield. They have a lot of energy, and they want to put it to good use. Exca is pretty frail, so I will commit the shield, and then work on farming back up to 2 more drill runs. This way, I will be able to KO the Sylveon and threaten a CMP tie into my opponent's Exca. I'm going to fire off Drill Run. Drill Run is going to connect. My opponent probably going to be bringing back in the Exca. We'll have to see. Do I win CMP? I do not. That is a bit unfortunate. However, I do have a charge move loaded. My opponent actually goes for a Rock Slide in case I try to catch onto Dragonite. Drill Run gets the shield. They bring in Togekiss, and I'm going to send in Starmie. My opponent possibly anticipating a snipe with Dragonite, but I'm able to stay patient and align my Starmie onto the Togekiss. That's gonna do a lot of damage. Togekiss is able to get the farm down. My plan now, since they have energy, is to send in Exca and hope they blind Ancient Power. And that's exactly what they do. They blind Ancient Power, and this game should be over. They undercharge the Ancient Power, going for the farm down, but from here, Dragonite can Dragon Breath down the Fairy type, superpower the Excadrill, and this will be game over. Goodbye, Exca. And that is a good game. The good leads continue in the next match, Dragonite into Shadow Snorlax. This matchup is made incredibly nice by the fact that my Dragonite is running Superpower. I'm going to look to overfarm a lot in this matchup. My opponent goes straight for the Body Slam, not even bluffing a potential Outrage. That works for me as I don't have to shield. I'm going to farm up till just before they reach their second Body Slam and fire off the Superpower. This will be lethal. My opponent is going to commit the shield. They go for the Body Slam, and honestly, I'm perfectly fine with taking my shield advantage here. So I'm just going to let the Dragonite go and send in Exca. They're going to pivot into Waterfall Gyarados, and I respond with Starmie. The fact that I'm switching Starmie into a Gyarados may clue them into the fact that I have a move that can do a lot of damage here. Crunch does get the shield, and unfortunately it does get the debuff. Here I do accidentally go to 100 energy, not the best timing from me. I go for the Thunder, and they do respect it with a shield. At this point, they can just go straight Aqua Tail. I'm going to commit the shield, and then I'm actually going to overfarm. I want to leave my Starmie with as little health remaining as possible to try and limit the amount of farm that the Shadow Snorlax is able to get. Thunder is going to land. I'm going to send back in that Exca, and their Snorlax was not able to get a lot of farm. They make a catch, and it's on to Florges. Florges is going to be able to tank the Drill Run, but a second Drill Run should be lethal after they take some more mud shots. So my goal here now is I need to make sure that I can overfarm enough energy to be able to outpace that Snorlax, and I'm able to do just that. Farming up to the back-to-back Drill Runs. That's going to KO the Florges after one more mud shot. We leave with the Drill Run loaded. This will be taking care of the Shadow Snorlax as we secure the win. Decent lead in the next match, Dragonite into Magnezone. Dragonite does of course have one-shot potential with the Superpower, but Magnezone can return the favor with some hard-hitting neutral wild charges. I'm going to bluff a Superpower here, going for the Dragon Claw, and I'm able to grab the first shield. One wild charge does not KO here, so I am going to let this through, just in case they bait. They do full send the wild charge. In comes Primarina. I bring in Excadrill, but I got baited as it's a waterfall Primarina, and these waterfalls are shredding through my Exca. Drill Run is going to land. They do not want me to reach a second Drill Run, so honestly, I'm going to let this go and go for an incredibly aggressive quick attack farm down with Starmie. Let's go, Starmie. Starmie looking for the farm down and barely able to get it. I now leave with a ton of loaded energy. My opponent, of course, does have the Magnezone. In comes Magnezone. They do have energy. I will commit the shield. My opponent full sends the wild charge. In the back, they have Dragonite, and Dragonite is going to have a bad day. Ice Beam, massive damage. Starmie gets the farm down, and now I can go for the Thunder versus Magnezone. Thunder is going to be resisted, but it grabs a shield, and I can combo play with a Superpower. Superpower takes care of the Magnezone, and that is a good game. Moving into the next match, leading Dragonite into Gyarados. My opponent safe switches into an Excadrill, so it's a fair assumption that they are running Waterfall on their Gyarados. Exca will fire off the Rock Slide. I'm staying in this matchup, farming up, and I'm going to win CMP tie as I bait with the Dragon Claw, hoping my opponent commits the shield, but they call the bait. A very nice read. I'm going to commit the shield here as I do want to preserve my Dragonite if at all possible. I'm going to farm up quite a bit of energy here, switch and catch a Rock Slide onto my own Exca. Let's go. I should be able to farm down now and leave with quite a bit of energy to threaten whatever my opponent decides to bring in, and they're going to send in the Waterfall Gyarados. I fire off the Rock Slide. Rock Slide is going to land. My opponent continues to farm. Exca getting low, but I reach a last-second Rock Slide number 2, applying a lot of pressure onto my opponent. They let this through, and they have Mamoswine in the back, and this is incredibly bad for me. I'm going to fire off a Dragon Claw here, hoping to try and grab a shield. I do get the shield. I'm not able to reach the Superpower, but I'm hoping my opponent has lost count here. Dragon Claw does get the shield. I'm going to send in Starmie. Things are looking pretty tough here. I think I need to call an Avalanche, so I'm going to let this through. It's an Avalanche. Maybe I have a chance. I need to get to double Ice Beam here, but they are already at Avalanche number 2, and it's looking like, unfortunately, I may get outpaced here. I'm going to fire off the Ice Beam. Ice Beam will do some solid chip damage. Mamoswine able to hang on and get to Avalanche number 3. Mamoswine proves to be a bit too much for Starmie to handle, as that's game over. Terrible lead in the next match, Dragonite into Avalugg. They're able to hit for double super effective damage here, so I will immediately save switch into Starmie, and my opponent sends in a Dragon Breath Gyarados, farming up, going straight for the Thunder, looking for the one-shot, and my opponent respects it with a shield. After so many seasons of running Starmie, Gyaradoses are finally starting to respect the Thunder. Crunch is going to KO. I do have shield advantage, and I'm going to put that to good use here. I'm going to send back in Dragonite, tank a move, fire off a Dragon Claw, and commit to the farm down. They do get the defense drop from Crunch, and that is quite unfortunate here, as I don't have a lot of HP remaining. Dragon Claw lands. I'm going to get them low, aggressive switch into Exca, and get the Mudshot farm down. I needed to get some energy here, because I need Exca to get rid of Avalugg. Avalugg is going to fire off a charge move. It's only a body slam, but honestly, I kind of need to shield everything here because these Ice Fangs do so much damage. I'm going to fire off the Rock Slide. Rock Slide is going to land, getting the Avalugg low. I'm going for Rock Slide number 2, continuing to apply pressure. If they're staying in here, they must be weak to Exca, and it looks like they are as they concede the match. Tough lead in the next match, Dragonite into Florges. As always, immediate save switch into Starmie and hope they switch out. Florges is staying in here, which is not good news for me. Florges is going to fire off a Moonblast. That gets me low. In comes Haxorus, and I'm going straight for the Ice Beam. This Ice Beam will not one-shot, but it is able to grab a shield from my opponent. So Starmie able to bait out the counter user of Haxorus, and on top of that, grab an early shield advantage. Haxorus is going to fire off a Dragon Claw into the Dragonite. I'm going to let that through, hoping that I will be able to outpace here, and I barely am. I get to the Dragon Claw. Dragon Claw is going to be lethal, and that is going to KO. My opponent is going to send in Snorlax, and I make a bit of an unfortunate switch there. I could have just stayed in with Dragonite, but I was expecting them to send back in the Florges. Definitely not a great play from me whatsoever. I'm going to continue to farm with Exca. I'm firing off Drill Run number 2 here. This Drill Run is going to get them deep into the red. Snorlax does have a lot of energy. I will respect the potential superpower. They bait with a Body Slam. Things going from bad to worse. I'm going to be firing off this Drill Run. Drill Run is going to be getting them low, so they're forced to burn that final shield. Shield's down. Maybe I do have a chance here. They fire off another Body Slam. That's quite unfortunate. And they do reach the superpower. Superpower is going to KO. And that's game over. We've got some awesome spice in the final match, Dragonite into Sneasler. Opponent save switches into Metagross, and we have a great response available in Excadrill. Drill Run does not one-shot here, so I'm actually going to go for an undercharge. Metagross can reach a charge move no matter what, so with this undercharge, it will allow me to shield once, farm down, and leave with a massive amount of energy to grab shields from whatever my opponent has in the back. If they bring in Sneasler, Sneasler's going to have to double shield right away. My opponent is going to send in their own Exca, so they are very weak to my Excadrill's energy. I'm going to fire off Drill Run. That's going to grab a shield. I'm going to farm up again and go for Drill Run number 2, continuing to apply pressure to my opponent. I'm going to try and go for a catch here. I farm up, switch into Dragonite. Were they able to react in time? We'll have to see. And it's the Rock Slide. Very nice reaction time from my opponent. They will reach Rock Slide number 2. I'm going to commit the shield. I just have to keep farming and wait for them to attempt to catch the superpower. I farm up. There's the attempted superpower catch onto Sneasler. I'm going to fire off this Dragon Claw. Dragon Claw is going to be getting the Sneasler low. I can't quite farm down, so I'm going for Dragon Claw number 2. I still have a decent amount of HP remaining, so it's going to be tough for Exca to try and farm me down here. I will be able to make it to a Dragon Claw, and at this point, may as well show that I do have the Starmie. I'm going to send in the Starmie. Starmie has one-shot a lot of Pokemon in this video, but sometimes a Pokemon is best used as a damage sponge, and that is Starmie's role in this battle. Starmie tanks both Drill Runs, my Excadrill farms down, and that is a good game. I have a ton of fun getting to use Starmie in the Master League Premier Cup. It is definitely not a Pokemon that I would recommend trying, however, as it is entirely reliant on the surprise factor. If an opponent is aware of Starmie's moveset, they can pretty comfortably send in something like a Metagross, an Excadrill, something where Starmie just can't do nearly enough damage, and that can cause Starmie to struggle quite a bit. However, if the opponent underestimates Starmie, as some do, they send in a Dragonite, they send in a Gyarados, well then the Starfish can absolutely go to work. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you as always to our members here on YouTube. The support you guys provide is absolutely incredible. So thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.